recently just brought up Dano. We'd love to hear about your recent experience trip to the Dominican Republic. What was something that the Lord revealed to you on that trip or something that stood out?
But I just with Dano, you have to know Dano.
It's true.
That he has so much energy and just the passion. He's a true evangelist, and just watching him in terms of instructing young men how to steal bases in the detail in which he has gone through to develop his skills and now passing it on to others um, is really good. And then uh, just to listen to him share the gospel, although I was taking pictures, so my attention was on taking pictures and not so much of what he was saying. Just enjoyable. But it's been good to have him come into my life and invite me to do that. And he's invited me to go to Uganda when they dedicate the clinic there, the medical clinic there, and
Yeah.
to pray for the clinic and also to pray for Robert in terms of that. Robert and I have a deep connection, although I don't interfere with things with him. If he wants to talk to me, you know, but we spent some time in North Carolina when he last was here for the chess tournament,
Yeah.
and that was real special because I hadn't had time to really talk to him. Because a lot of times when I've been in the same place as he has, I know he has to meet other people, so I stand back.
Hmm,
So,
that's great.
but Dano, you know, gave me the idea that I could still do this,
Yeah.
but I will do it. So I will do it until I can't do it.
Amen. That's great. I love that. I love hearing that. Um, would you encourage others to take missions trips with sports outreach and why? Why are mission trips so important?
I would definitely encourage people to take mission trips. I've been doing it now for over 25 years, not only with sports outreach, but with other organizations too, um, with with my church. Um, so it really changes your perspective. One thing, it makes you more dependent on the Lord
Mm,
because you're in environment that's often very unfamiliar to you, and you're seeing things that really challenge you. Like when I was going through Rwanda right after the genocide, I've never experienced anything like that, and never would have had I not gone at that particular time and saw things that most people, you know, they have no clue,
mm,
and it's even hard to keep um, in mind. Um, but it changed my life in terms of seeing that kind of thing, and then to be able to go back and see from a dark cloud of just oppressiveness to feeling a really sense of peace when you're in the country. And just the relationship I have with Nathan Amodi, who I don't talk to too much. He was the person in charge from Archbishop Colini, and you know I was here in Waco, Texas, and a couple in our home group who go to a different church shared that they had this African come and speak to them. And I said, "Hey, is that Nathan Amodi?" And so I was able to connect with him. And the next time he came, we went and had lunch with him. So that was just fantastic. And he's a very influential guy. I've met him several times in the States here at different occasions, but not knowing he would be there. So it's just
that's
fun.
amazing. That's so cool. What would you say is something that motivates you as you step into coaching, as you continue that throughout your life? Like what motivates you to keep getting up and pursuing that?
Well, and just Lord directing, Lord really directing those things in those times and those opportunities that have come come about. Like, I went to Guatemala with Hoops for Hope, my church here, and I did that 2 years in a row, and just seeing how that program worked, and the power of just having a clinic instead of teaching or having sport um, tournaments or those kinds of things, but just teaching skills and using that as the platform to share the gospel. So I experience or have experienced and read a lot about different sports types ministries and what they've done or how they go, and I've had the experience of going into different places and having to set up camps or whatever on a short-term basis. You're just, you look at, oh, okay, we've got this field, we've got this can happen here. And because of being a teacher, I could come into those situations and analyze how to set up something. And when we first went, my first trip, Russ would say we'd have 20 people, and we learned to multiply that by 10. So instead of 20 people at your station, you might have 200. And you think, well, okay, how am I going to deal with that?
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly how, but I knew I was totally frustrated, totally challenged.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely changes things for
Yeah,
sure.
it definitely changes things.
Wow.
I'll share one experience with you that really is crazy. On that first trip, I think it was the first trip, might have been the second trip, I had met this young man that liked basketball. And then he said, I'll set something up at the national court. And so the next day, I'm going to the national court. Now, thinking, I'm going by myself. I don't know this guy, except I met him the day before. We're going to do basketball. I have 5 or 6 basketballs. And how many people did we have?
100.
About 200. Yeah. Well, so I get to the court. There's a whole bunch of other things happen on this. And before I'm going, I'm nervous, but my zipper gets stuck on my sweats. And that reminds me that God is in control of the situation. And the tension flew. It went away. And so I went there. There are 7 guys there. Instead of 200 or whatever, the National Outdoor Court. and I think it was my second trip. First trip, we only saw 1 basket.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so we did a whole bunch of drills and everything, and then 5 of the guys, 3 accepted the Lord, 2 rededicated their life to the Lord at that time, and then the next 4 or 5 trips to Uganda, I met with these guys, and we just did different things. I ran a practice for them or that kind of thing.
Wow,
so,
that is awesome.
And it wasn't part of the activities that we were doing.
Yeah.
So I was able to cut out time in the evening to meet with these young men. Wow. And did that for 5 or 6 years. So
that's amazing.
And one of them finally came. He became a reporter. He's in Congo now, and he became a reporter for a TV station. And now and then he came to the United States on a program with the State Department, and so we met him in Reno. It was just fantastic.
That's amazing.
And I called him Shooter. Because he was a shooter.
That's amazing. Wow.